How's it going, guys? Hope you're all well. Hope you're having a good week. The breaking news the last hour or so is that some double game weeks have been announced in both Gameweek 24 and 25. So I thought I'd put together a quick video really just covering what those fixtures are, players to target, and just some other talking points for the upcoming double game week fixtures. Obviously we're less than 2 days away from the deadline, so forgive the production quality in this one, but I think it's important to look at these double game week fixtures because they're just around the corner, and there's definitely opportunities with some of these fixtures. So these are the fixtures. Game week 24, there's 4 teams. Those are Burnley, Fulham, Everton and Man City. And in game week 25 there are 2 teams with a double game week. So those are Leeds and Southampton. So this is a diagram I put together just basically showing the 2 fixtures that those teams will play. Here's a more detailed copy of the entire fixture ticker. There is a link to this in the description if you wanted to have a look at it. Some of you may have found this video from Reddit where I posted it already earlier on, but as I say, if you want to have a look at this ticker yourself, there is a link in the description. It's actually just a modified version of the official ticker, but the one on their website's terrible. When you try to sort by double game week fixtures, it doesn't work. It just assumes that the first fixture is the only one they're playing. So here's a bit of a tidier look at the fixture ticker, and as I say, link in the description if you wanted to have a look at that. So just reading the fixtures out loud. So Burnley have got Palace at home, Palace away, Fulham at home. Fulham have got Everton away, Burnley away. Everton have got Fulham at home and City at home. And Man City have got Tottenham at home, Everton away. And in game week 25, Leeds have got Wolves away, Southampton at home. And Southampton have got Chelsea at home and Leeds away. So some decent fixtures in there, but not just the fixtures, but some teams with some standout picks. I would say Man City, their double game week isn't as appealing, but obviously Man City's Man City, so I think you have to triple up on players from their team. So let's move on to potential players to target from each team. I've put together a maximum of 4 players from each team, and of course I haven't covered all of them here, but these are kind of some players that stand out to me that I think are worth considering. So for Man City, I've got the 2 centre backs, Ruben Diaz and Stones. They need no justification really. They've both been standouts this season. Diaz is my favourite between the 2. He's something that I talked about on some of the much earlier streams as a player that potentially was nailed in that back 4. And he kind of reminded me of a couple of seasons ago where Laporte started at 5.5 and he ended up playing week in, week out. And that's been Diaz this season, and City's defence has just been outstanding since he's come in. And likewise, we've seen a resurgence in John Stones. He's cheaper than Diaz and also a very good pick. And a bit of a double game week legend really for his 27 pointer back in game week 19, was it? Feels like a distant memory already. Ilkay Gundogan is another one I've put in here. He's been again outstanding this season. He's really stepped up in De Bruyne's absence, and he's putting up some world-class performances week in, week out. And his price as well is phenomenal. He's only 5.9, so he's risen 0.4 from his starting price, but still extremely cheap for the numbers he's putting up, and he's playing a new role in that City team. In previous seasons he's never really been an option, Gundogan, because he was playing a lot deeper, but he's got a new role this season under Guardiola, and those that have picked him up have been rewarded so far, so he's a great option too. As is Sterling. Sterling I think is a frustrating one for a lot of his owners. I just realised my head's blocking the Sterling price. Can you tell I put this video together in about half an hour? I'm trying to squeeze this video out before the Spurs game where of course Son's going to return for us that own him. Of course he will. But Sterling, yeah, he's again he could have had a hat-trick the other day. Really could have. He's getting the chances. He's just not been clinical enough to haul, but he's certainly a good pick still. He broke through the 100-point mark in the last game week. He's 11.6, which is quite expensive, but I know a lot of people are frustrated Salah owners, so he could be a potential move from Salah to Sterling with that double game week in mind. So let's have a look at Fulham next. Fulham, there actually are 4 players potentially worth picking up as well. So if you're looking for a keeper to bring in, Areola's a great option. He's still at 4.5, and we've seen Fulham play a lot better defensively in recent game weeks compared to how they started the season. Robinson's another one. He's only 4.4 surprisingly, and he hasn't got the highest score amongst the Fulham defenders. However, he has missed some game weeks, but he's actually got the best underlying stats of all the defenders, which is why I've included him in there. And for 4.4, you know, you could bring him in as your 5th defender, so he could potentially come into your team without impacting the rest of your squad, you know, in the game weeks coming up to the double. Again, Lookman and Anguissa, 2 options. You know, you can't expect hauls from these guys, but I think Lookman got an assist in double game week 19, so he's certainly capable of getting attacking returns, as is Anguissa. Again, these are great options just as your 5th midfielder, but potentially not someone you want to be starting week in, week out, before or after the double game weeks. So let's have a look at Everton next. Everton, I've actually only there's only 2 players I could really recommend. I mean, you look at their position in the league and they're doing amazing, but there's no one really who stands out besides these 2. You could argue James Rodriguez, but he's just very in and out of the squad with injuries, and you can't really trust him to start consistently. Likewise with Richarlison, he's dropped off compared to his previous seasons. So the 2 players from Everton are Digne. Interestingly, when Digne came back from his injury, he was playing left midfield, but he's back in left back now, more recently. But we saw him get an assist against Leeds, so he's got that attacking threat in him. And DCL needs no explanation. The way his season's gone so far this season, 7.6, a little bit pricey compared to where he started, but well worth considering him. I picked him up actually last game week with double game week 24 in mind. It wasn't guaranteed then at the time that we were going to see a double, but it was looking likely, so glad to see Everton ending up with a double as a DCL owner. So the next side are Burnley. Burnley with arguably the best 2 fixtures in the double game week. So the 2 players in defence that I've highlighted are Benby and Tarkowski. The Burnley defence obviously has a reputation of being very solid, lots of clean sheets, so they're easy to recommend. I do actually prefer Tarkowski of the 2, even though Benby's got more points for this season so far. Nick Pope, another option in goal, more expensive to Areola of Fulham, also goalkeeping option, but I think he's actually the top scoring keeper at the moment, Nick Pope. So a really solid option, and they've got a good game week before the double as well. And Ashley Barnes is the last one that I've highlighted. He's a bit of a punt, to be honest with you. You know, massive differential, 0.2% owned. He's missed the last game with an injury, but he's expected to be back for the next game week 23, and certainly should be back for double game week 24. Right, on to Leeds. Leeds are an interesting one because they've got so many players you could target, but the 4 I've picked out is Stuart Dallas. Stuart Dallas, he's actually been playing out of position in recent game weeks, playing in centre midfield, so he's a very strong option. He's got the attacking threat, 4.8, decent price. Alioski's another one, also a defender, more of a bargain, 4.4. He's a little bit of a riskier player, but he is very attacking as well. You know, playing down the left wing mostly, even though he's supposedly playing left back, so he's a really strong option as well. Good differential, 2.4%, but he's a little bit more of a rotation risk and prone to coming off early. Rafinha, another very strong option, again putting up really solid options in that lead side, 69 points so far this season. He actually dropped in price last night, even though he returned against Everton. He's a really strong option, as is Patrick Bamford. Bamford, I think he started the season at 5.5, so it's crazy how much he's risen so far this season. But yeah, Bamford's a really strong option, not just for the double, but you know, in the game weeks before and after. And lastly, Southampton. Southampton really unfortunate on the receiving end of another 9-0 against Man United this time, with off the back of the 2 red cards as well. We actually saw early today Bednarek's red card was rescinded, However, they won't actually retrospectively take off those negative points he got. They don't ever do that after the game weeks have been played. So unfortunate for anyone that owns Bednarek, especially I think there was one manager who triple captained Bednarek, so -21 stands with him, and Bednarek keeps the record for the lowest ever score in a game week. Anyway, McCarthy, really strong option in goal. He's been phenomenal this season. 4.6 mil, still surprisingly. He's barely risen. Walker Peters I've included in here. He's obviously been out injured. However, the news from the conference today is that he's expected to be back for this weekend, so you'd certainly expect him to be back in time for double game week 25. Danny Ings and Che Adams are two that have underperformed recently, but we know they're very capable of justifying their price. So I've included them in here as potential striker options. Again, if you're looking for a differential, then they're both very good options, especially Danny Ings. Well within his locker to haul in any given game week. So that's those are the 6 teams with double game week fixtures and the players that I think are worth considering. I also just wanted to include Ben Crellin's diagram here. So this is looking beyond double game week 24 and 25. These are the percentage chances of a blank occurring in game week 29. These are the fixtures in game week 29. So you can see City, almost certain to have a blank in 29. So what this effectively means, ignoring the blank in 29, the blanks in 29 will move into game week 26. So we're actually looking down the barrel of 3 double game weeks, 24, 25 and 26. Now 26 is going to be the biggest double game week of the season, so this is something to bear in mind as well, especially in terms of chip strategy. One of the most logical ways to, or arguably most logical ways to use your wildcard is in 25, because then you can target the double game week 26 fixtures, and those that still have their bench boost may want to use it then, myself included. I'm thinking about using the wildcard in 25, load up with players, and then bench boost in 26. So now that we know some of the double game week 25 fixtures, you could also look to bring in some of those. And lastly, there are still 4 fixtures that have been postponed this season and are yet to be rearranged. So ignoring that diagram we saw just now and the double game weeks that we know in 24 and 25, there's another 4 fixtures here that are still yet to be rearranged, which is Villa with 2 games at home against Everton and Spurs, Spurs with 2 away fixtures, Villa and Fulham, Fulham with their home game against Spurs, and City with another double game week still yet to be confirmed, above and beyond everything else, which is against Southampton. So yeah, that's my, how long was that video? Hopefully it wasn't too long. I wanted to just kind of get this video out there before we get to game week 23, because as I say, there's not long to go till the deadline, and there's definitely opportunities on the horizon if you pick up the right players. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. Do leave a like if you have, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, do hit the sub button. I do deadline streams every game week and post game week streams, so I'll hopefully catch you guys one of those as well. But thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in game week 23.